Waltheof, 1st Earl of the Honour of Huntingdon and Northampton, was the last of the Anglo-Saxon earls and the only English aristocrat to be executed during the reign of William I. Early life. Waltheof was the second son of Siward, Earl of Northumbria. His mother was Aelfhelide, daughter of Ealdred, Earl of Bernicia, son of Uhtred, Earl of Northumbria. In 1054, Waltheof's brother, Osbern, who was much older than he, was killed in battle, making Waltheof his father's heir. Siward himself died in 1055, and Waltheof being far too young to succeed as Earl of Northumbria, King Edward appointed Tostig Godwinson to the earldom. He was said to be devout and charitable and was probably educated for a monastic life. In fact, around 1065 he became an earl, governing Northamptonshire and Huntingdonshire. Following the Battle of Hastings he submitted to William and was allowed to keep his pre-conquest title and possessions. He remained at William's court until 1068. First Revolt. When Sweyn II invaded northern England in 1069, Waltheof and Edgar Atheling joined the Danes and took part in the attack on York. He would again make a fresh submission to William after the departure of the invaders in 1070. He was restored to his earldom, and went on to marry William's niece, Judith of Lenne. In 1072, he was appointed Earl of Northampton. The Domesday Book mentions Waltheof in Hallam, one manor with its 16 hamlets. There are 29 carucats, 14 square kilometers, to be taxed. There Earl Waltheof had an aula, hall or court. There may have been about 20 ploughs. This land Roger de Busly holds of the Countess Judith. In 1072, William expelled Gospatrick from the earldom of Northumbria. Gospatrick was Waltheof's cousin and had taken part in the attack on York with him, but like Waltheof, had been pardoned by William. Gospatrick fled into exile and William appointed Waltheof as the new earl. Waltheof had many enemies in the north. Amongst him were members of a family who had killed Waltheof's maternal great-grandfather, Uchtred the Bold, and his grandfather Ealdred. This was part of a long-running blood feud. In 1074, Waltheof moved against the family by sending his retainers to ambush him, succeeding in killing the two eldest of 4 brothers. Second Revolt and Death. In 1075, Waltheof joined the revolt of the earls against William. His motives for taking part in the revolt are unclear, as is the depth of his involvement. However, he repented, confessing his guilt first to Archbishop Lanfranc and then in person to William, who was at the time in Normandy. He returned to England with William but was arrested, brought twice before the King's Court and sentenced to death. He spent almost a year in confinement before being beheaded on May 31, 1076 at St. Giles's Hill, near Winchester. He was said to have spent the months of his captivity in prayer and fasting. Many people believed in his innocence and were surprised when the execution was carried out. His body was initially thrown in a ditch, but was later retrieved and was buried in the chapter house of Croyland Abbey. Cult of martyrdom. In 1092, after a fire in the chapter house, the abbot had Waltheof's body moved to a prominent place in the Abbey church. When the coffin was opened, it is reported that the corpse was found to be intact with the severed head rejoined to the trunk. This was regarded as a miracle, and the Abbey, which had a financial interest in the matter, began to publicize it. As a result, pilgrims began to visit Waltheof's tomb. After a few years, healing miracles were reputed to occur in the vicinity of Waltheof's tomb, often involving the restoration of the pilgrim's lost sight. Waltheof also became the subject of popular media, heroic but inaccurate accounts of his life being preserved in the Vitae Passio Waldevicums, a Middle English Waltheof saga, since lost, and the Anglo-Norman Waldeff family and children. In 1070, Waltheof married Judith de Lenz, daughter of Lambert II, Count of Lenz, and Adelaide of Normandy, Countess of Aumale. They had 3 children, the eldest of whom, Maud, brought the earldom of Huntingdon to her second husband, David I of Scotland, and another, Adelais married the Anglo-Norman noble Raoul III of Tosny. Their son Uchtred of Tynedale married Bethic, daughter of Donald III, King of Scotland. One of Waltheof's grandsons was Waltheof, Abbot of Melrose. In popular culture, Waltheof was portrayed by actor Marcus Gilbert in the TV drama Blood Royal. William the Conqueror. Waltheof is the subject of Juliet Dymoke's 1970 historical novel of the Ring of Earls. Waltheof is a major character in Elizabeth Chadwick's 2002 historical novel The Winter Mantle.